Dick Zanuck called me on the telephone and said, I have a wonderful project for you, and it's called 1 Million Years BC. I realized that it was a dinosaur movie. And I called him back and I said, I don't want to make a dinosaur movie. He said, but you have no choice in the matter, dear. You're under contract here, so you'll go. The picture I had just done previous to that, also, which was a Fox release, was Fantastic Voyage, and I thought, I'm caught in sci-fi hell. I mean, first of all, I'm swimming through the human bloodstream at microscopic size, and now I've got to fight off dinosaurs. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? I'm sure that Lana Turner never started her career like this.
Toma.
The thing that changed my mind completely was the next issue of Time magazine came out, and when I got it on my doorstep, it had the whole issue was about swinging London and how everything was happening in London, and there was this whole cultural revolution, Carnaby Street and all this, and I thought, well, that can't be too bad. You know, I'll go to London, I'll do this turkey, and then everybody will forget about it, and I'll have myself a great time. So I sort of happily got on the plane, you know, and to go to London and to shoot in the Canary Islands, which is far removed from the streets of London. And we shot all these scenes on the top of Tenerife and Lanzarote Islands in the Canary Islands. And you had to drive from a pensione all the way out to where it was just lava rock, no telephone poles or anything. And it was snowing, it was freezing, freezing cold. And I got the worst case of tonsillitis, and I almost died from it. I was frozen solid. And they used to have a little bucket of coals underneath the camera to keep the cameras turning, to warm them up. But I was out there with hardly anything on, and I was trying to embellish my part with some kind of ideas about, you know, little subtleties, but it never turned out that way, and probably better off because I was pretty green, and I'm not sure my ideas would have worked anyway. I have these fond memories of rushing over and talking to the director and saying, you know, I have this idea, and he'd say, please, darling, I don't want to hear any ideas. You see rock A over there, you start at rock A, you run to rock B, in the middle, imagine that you see a giant turtle coming over the hill, and you go, Don Chaffee was the director, did a really, really very good job of the movie for that time, and Ray Harryhausen was doing all the special effects. Harryhausen was this genius in that area of special effects. So I could see the sort of appeal of that kind of film, but it took me years to live it down. That was already back in the studio, so that was like not as difficult as the things that we did exterior for me. It was just hanging by, I guess they called them Foley wires then, and they would just attach, you know, these talons, which were totally fake and rubber. I was thrashed about. I mean, sort of, you know, that nonsense. I was too silly. It was too silly. Oh, that was the girl fight, you know, the famous girl fight. I always liked to do those kind of things because my training was in dancing. I knew how to move, and I felt like I was doing something instead of just walking around in some little scanty outfit all the time. So I used to enjoy that very much. And the fight scene did come off pretty well, I thought, in the end. That was a big deal. She's a very nice girl. We got along great, and a very beautiful girl. And she was the baddie, and I was the good girl. I was queen of the shell people, or something like that, if you wanted to put it in really kitsch terms, which I think it only rightly deserves. He was very nice, wonderfully good-looking, beautiful, beautiful man. Very nice. A photographer, actually. He was a big camera bug. He really, really wanted to be a photographer and not an actor, I think. He wasn't a bad actor at all, but he didn't seem to care at all. And I, of course, was very much caring. I kept thinking, oh, if they make me do one more silly thing, if I have another line like, "Me Luana, you Tumac," I think I'll just never be able to show my face again.
Luana?
Tumac.
But the other thing is that they wanted, that was also made it a little bit just physically bizarre and a little unpleasant for the breathing, was that they would light up these sulfur bombs, and then this sort of slightly amber-colored smoke would be coming into the frame all the time. And that was one of the ways it was supposed to look, I guess, like the lava was still steaming and all of that. Well, somebody, I guess it was a unit photographer, shot this picture of me there, right out there in this lava desert with the sort of smoke bombs coming up, and just caught me in that position where I sort of turned and, you know, with my legs akimbo. And when I got off the plane, whatever, 6, 7 weeks later in London, my whole life had changed because of this picture. Apparently it had gone out and around and was the subject of the Christmas card for Hammer Films. And I was just, you know, overnight, everybody knew who I was and I became a star. And, but unfortunately, not just a star, I became a sex symbol. And part of me loved it, thought it was the greatest thing ever, and part of me went, oh gosh, I'm not sure I like this. Nobody was really supposed to see me in this movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in years. I mean, every once in a while on the Late Show, I sort of pass it and go, oh, there she is again. Just won't go away, that lady. But for what it was, it did extremely well. It was a big hit movie. And God knows it put me on the map, so I'm very grateful that I did it, that silly dinosaur movie all those years ago.